Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Richard Arreola coming at you from Cal State University Fullerton. Today's topic I wanted to touch up on was it's a topic that I call being too big to help others. This was something that is something that I've been guilty of doing, and this is something that I've witnessed others do as well. And what I mean by being too big to help others, I'm talking more along the lines of, okay, when I've had a lot of success and I've accumulated a lot of success, sometimes we as, people have a tendency to be very overconfident, or sometimes even possess some kind of arrogance where we feel like, okay, you know what, I don't need to help this person. I'm too busy focused on trying to get mine, or trying to, take care of myself, not worry about other people. I know because I've been guilty of that. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of success in athletics where, I've gotten to the pinnacle of where I wanted to be. And then when other up and coming hungry individuals would want to come and ask me for help or want to train with me and stuff like that, I'd be like, no, who are you? Or I'd just be like, no, it's like, yeah, get away. And I know because I've been guilty of this in the sport of wrestling and whatnot. So not knowing that, okay, this person right here that's asking me, that's taking time out of his day to approach me and say, hey, look, I need your help, dude. Can you give me some advice? Can you work with me? Can I train with you, to kind of hopefully just, get some of that, just to get that experience with you and whatnot. Or a lot of times they just admire you. And I've always had that attitude back in the day where, like, okay, I would say to myself, well, nah, I'm okay, no thank you, just for the fact that either because I didn't want to, maybe I didn't trust them, or maybe because I felt that I was too big for my britches. I'd say 80% of the time, 90% of the time, okay, it was because I felt as if, I was arrogant and I was too big for my britches. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that, in sports, when I was participating in this attitude, the sport that I was in was much more bigger than me. And in the end, we have to look at the same thing as life. This life is much more bigger than us. There's a much bigger picture than what we're involved in, what we're getting ourselves involved in here. Whatever it is you're good at, whatever it be, business, life, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, anything in life, the world doesn't revolve around what you're doing, and more importantly, it's much more bigger than you, the big picture. And I would notice this too when there'd be times where, like, there'd be people I look up to and I would want to approach them and pick their brain and train with them, or just get ideas from them and just hear what they have to say. And when I would do that, I would kind of get that sense of, like, arrogance where, like, okay, who are you? Or why do you want to train with me? Why should I roll with you? Why should I work with you? And there have been times like that in business too, where people didn't want to work with me because they kind of thought I was a peon in that big world that they think they own. That's when I had to kind of shift my thinking when someone made me feel that way. I had to say to myself, okay, I had to look myself in the mirror and say, hey, who do you think you are? Like, who do you think you are where you have to just blow people off? Who do you think you are where you can just ignore somebody? Who do you think you are where you act like you're bigger than your field of study or field of sport or field of business? So I had to kind of look my own self in the mirror, and I had to really self-evaluate. I had to do some self-evaluation, and I had to look within myself and say, okay, Richard, your stuff's broken. It's like you're broken. All right. So pretty much what I had to do is to kind of shift my thinking, and a lot of it was, number one, me looking in the mirror and telling myself that, realizing what I was doing, and second of all, what do I got to do to change things? Whether it be watching other people, who lead by example, or simply just looking within myself and saying, okay, look, this field that I'm in, this world that I'm in, this mission that I'm trying to accomplish is much more bigger than me. So instead of trying to get mine and focus on my selfish ways, why don't I really make people first, or really take time to become either a good student, learn more about it, evolve, improve, and at the same time, and this is the biggest factor, help others. help others. That right there was the total game changer. And that's where I had to shift my attitude and say to myself, I need to focus more on helping others. And then when I do that, the reward that I get in it is much more bigger than me just winning or being successful and whatnot, you know. Now I'm more like, I get more of a high off seeing other people succeed. And a lot of that came from me when I was teaching, you know, when I would teach my students and see how they would, you know, pick up concepts and then apply it. And then I would see them, you know, winning competitions, or just not even competitions, but let me take that back. But it's more like when they would figure out how to do a technique and then they would hit it in during live sessions, sparring and live roles. I would say to myself, they did it. Wow, that's awesome. And then they would give me that look like, I did it. And I would say, my man. So, yeah, I mean, I would get a super high off that. And now I've started applying that towards outside of the classroom, like, you know, with people that I come in across with and stuff like that, you know, and I was very fortunate to be very, very successful in the sport that I'm in right now, that I continue to climb the ladder, you know, jiu-jitsu and whatnot. But the one thing I started telling myself was, hey, look, you know, you're winning these competitions and things like that, but what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to make, you know, the jiu-jitsu better? What are you doing to, you know, to impact people's lives? You know, because after you win all the tournaments and all the medals and everything, what are you left with? You know, not much. Because in the end, they're just medals. They're just pieces of tin metal. They mean absolutely nothing. You know, what really matters is the people you come across with, the people who you cross paths with, the people that you interact with, the, you know, the fact that you took time out of your day to give advice to somebody, to help somebody, to, you know, who is struggling. You know, maybe somebody who's up and coming just like you know, who's trying to come up in the game, or maybe trying to build a business or something like that, or maybe this person didn't have a lot of money and you know, took your last cent and just helped, and took your last dollar and helped them out and say, hey, look, it's okay, I've been there, here you go. Or maybe just loaning them advice, or just being there for them, you know, just helping them out, you know. And a lot of that is the message I'm trying to get across here, that the mission is much more bigger than you. It's much more bigger than me. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make more helping others a priority in my life. I want to help others. I want to be able to contribute to their success, not because I want to get something back or recognition back, but I just want, you know, to me it's all about legacy. It's all about, you know, when I leave this earth, I hope somebody would remember and say, hey, look, there's Richard. You know, this guy was there for me when, you know, when I needed it the most, or I'll never forget, you know, the impact he made on my life. You know, not so much, oh wow, this guy won a bunch of medals, but man, he was a jerk. You know, he was a total D-bag. You know, and then that's not something I want to be remembered by. You know, I'd like to be remembered hopefully as someone who's made an impact, or someone who's lit a spark. And